Are you on a forklift?
Yeah, yeah.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a tutti.
What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC. All right, and yes, as Adam states here, it is Victory Wednesday. All right, finally, all right, a win, a 2-0 victory against Lazio in the first leg of the semifinal in the Coppa Italia. All right, and a lot of things coming out of this game. Really, quite a bit to dissect in terms of the words post-match from not just Massimiliano Allegri, but also Vlahovic, also Federico Chiesa. We have a little bit of news circulating this morning that we can get to and touch on, but there are also some positives to take out of this game, and just a lot of mixed feelings coming out of this game. But the main thing is we do have one foot in the final of the Coppa Italia, one of our objectives. The other, of course, we will tackle moving into the weekend against Fiorentina. All right, I've got Anthony with me, I got Omer with me, and you guys, we had to start a little bit late because sometimes the discussions just get fired up in the green room and we can't even get to start the show. Omer's going to have his thoughts come out on the PK that was revoked.
These two.
All right, but we're going to have a lot of fun. Fellas, how you doing today?
I'm fine. Finally had a good night's sleep.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Took a while to let that out, man. It seemed like a lot of thinking. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. No, I was waiting for Anthony because I was there like for the last 3 days. So waiting for Anthony to say how he's doing.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
they already know I'm doing. But then I thought about it, Al. Does Anthony know he lost a bet?
Oh, yeah, we have to fill Anthony in. We made a bet, and you were a part of that while not being on the show. So
awesome.
I bet we would see a
3-4-2-1.
Omar bet against it. The winner gets to choose your Twitter profile picture for a week. So, congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I won.
Well, you won?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, you didn't lose. It's Al who actually lost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But in turn, I won. We both won. We talked about that.
Yeah, it's a win-win for us and a lose-lose.
Anyways, you jerks. I'm well, and it's good to see you too as well. All right. Listen, I've already told you.
It feels like it's been a long time with the international break and everything, and
I had shit to do. If my screen goes black, we got a windstorm outside. Everybody here in the Greater Toronto area, it's not good. So, but listen, I love you all. I wish I could stay. I'm my plan is to stay for the whole show, but it's not the dial-up if I go black, right? It's not the dial-up.
We'll sort her. We'll sort her out. All right. We'll see how it happens out here. And we got the comments coming in saying what's up to everybody. Everybody should kind of be all settled in here. Take a time, like the video. All right. Going to remind everybody that's tuning in on the audio outlets, head over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. All right. And take in on all the extras. And today we'll have some visuals and part of certain discussions of the show. All right. So you'll be missing out on that if you don't get in there. And again, reminders, ways to support the channel. The easiest that we always truly appreciate is just simply liking and sharing the content. All right, that goes a long way. Of course, the merch store with a ton of custom designs, some new ones set to come out very, very soon. And then, of course, becoming a member. And we got to thank again Ricardo from JCD Melbourne, Gigi Buffon official fan club in Australia, gifting another 5 the other day, taking his tally to somewhere around 33 this season. Okay, he is a unit. All right, and gonna try and tee up getting on the show with those fellas over in Australia. So we're gonna have some fun. And Omar and myself, a week apart, will be joining Fredrik Lemon of the Club Svezia podcast out of Sweden for Juventus. So that's going to be great. Omar, I believe you're joining him this coming week.
No, I'm joining him next Friday.
next Friday. I am the following one, all right? So look forward to that. And he's been a long time supporter, and I had no idea they had that show going. So we look forward to that, all right?
Look at
Show
us.
them some
Look
love
at us,
as well.
Going international. You couple of jabronis. Good for you.
There you go. There you go. Now, everybody, all right? Let's go and tackle this bad boy, all right? So as far as the lineups go,
we're here.
Saw the lineup and didn't really have any issues with it, to be honest. I mean, Omer kind of tackled it on the preview show that is, in fact, our best while we were going during a good run in the first round. Perin ends up in goal. Gatti, Bremer, Danilo, Cambiaso, McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic on the left, Vlahovic and Chiesa up top. Absolutely more than enough to get the job done. And I just kept saying attitude was going to be probably more important than anything else in this game. I kind of made 3 points about what I was looking for in this game, and none of them really had to do with tactics or strategy or anything. I said I was going to be looking at Vlahovic to be this driving force and leader for Juventus, because I think checkmark there. He felt like it was doing. We will get to that later on. The second was I needed to see our midfield with some goddamn balls and tenacity. And I actually think as far as that goes, winning some battles, they were way more engaged than they were on the weekend in terms of winning battles. That I will give. And then I was looking for a reaction from Cambiaso. Given the dust up with Max last game being subbed off, I wanted him to have a strong showing. Second half, turned it up. I liked it. All right. So those were my 3 things going into this game. I think we could check all those off. Ant, you kind of seemed a little bit still not content with the mid.
First half.
Yeah. First half, I don't think, but I will say out of the first half, I didn't mind what Cambiaso was doing. Vlahovic definitely solid game throughout.
90 minutes or whatever he played. 80 something.
I actually thought Cambiaso, I was afraid he's going to get subbed at halftime. In the first half, he looked angry. He was doing those small little tackles. I thought Allegri was going to take him out. But I'm happy.
And he did speak to that, saying that Cambiaso has to kind of rein in the emotions a bit. And he says he gets a little too wound up sometimes. So again, just got to get him put in check. But we'll go through the talking points. We don't have to waste any time to see what sparked the green room discussion today, because 10th minute, a PK awarded to Juventus. It gets looked at, and I had to message L'Arbitro Nick and say, dude, what's going on? So he says, basically, in this play, Massa was in an excellent position to correctly make a penalty kick call. His assistant didn't pick up on an offside call, though. Cambiaso was clearly in an offside position when Vlahovic headed the ball. But there are 2 things that kind of need explanation here. First is if when the ball is played, the player is in an offside position, even if they come back into an offside position. Second, why is this offside even there if a Lazio player headed the ball before Cambiaso played it? Okay?
Yes.
So now we got to get into a change that came in 2 years ago, which is making the decision if it was deliberate or a deflection from the defender's part. Okay? And in order for it to be considered a deliberate play and annul the offside, this is what the IFAB considers and this is straight out of the book. The ball traveled from distance and the player had a clear view of what he needed to do with that ball. The ball was not moving quickly. The direction of the ball was not unexpected. The player had time to coordinate their body movement. It was not a case of instinctive stretching or jumping or a movement that achieved limited contact control. And a ball moving on the ground is easier to play than a ball in the air. So based
Omer,
on that,
every single one of those is checked off, buddy. That is an offside.
I would say it's hard to say based on if that's what they're going by on the book. Watching it, though, I disagree watching it, but like when you hear it read out like that,
yes,
there is not, the ball didn't travel a long distance. He had very little time to make a decision. He didn't really judge anything. He just kind of like whipped his head out towards it. I could see why it's called. Ultimately, though, I don't really like it. I don't really like it. But Omar, I know you're gonna get into this fire away. Ant kind of sees why it's
I'm,
annulled.
I'm not gonna get into it. I mean, if if that's the rule, then that's the rule. Okay.
Yeah, that's the rule.
Uh, yeah, I can't argue with the rule. Okay. I just think it's a stretch. I mean, do we have to go to that many details to decide a penalty or not? First of all, I don't think it was a deflection. I think he headed the ball where he wanted to hit the ball. He could have left it and let it roll outside. Um,
They were in a
I
very
don't know.
short distance between each other, Vlahovic and that defender, and heads toward him. Like I could
Well,
see why it's called. I could see why it got taken
I
Did
could
away.
it
argue
deflect?
it got deflected off Dushan. He didn't mean to head it that way
Did
either.
it? Did it deflect off the defender that was jumping with Dushan as well, or just the
That's
one?
Well,
that's what I didn't catch. I didn't get a chance to see if
it's
he
Either,
still
touched
it's
the knife.
still tough either
either way.
way. Like I mean, I'm kind of with L'Arbitro Nick here. I mean, he says I think the main points that make this not a deliberate play are the fact that the ball was in the air. Lazio defender made more of an instinctive movement, and he didn't really have control or have a lot of time to really make any type of call. He says I think it was sensible offside call here. We can argue that we do not agree with the rule, but VAR and Massa got this one correct in his opinion. So at the end of the day, I'm really just happy it didn't hurt us. It didn't hurt us, not
Hmm.
okay. But Max talked about this moment, and I think I kind of felt it watching it. There was a little bit of a let off after we didn't
Oh
get
yeah,
that in
big time.
steam, hey? Coming out,
Hmm.
Yeah.
looking with the right attitude, all of this, opening 10 games, and then this happens, and yeah, just this again flat. And you feel that. And Max talked about that. And they just have to find ways to get that attitude and
I don't think
approach
it
and just
was.
keep it.
I don't think it was long after that Lazio hit the crossbar on that looping header. Even though it wasn't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call that a chance to be honest. But
10
they
minutes
didn't
later, they
really.
got an opportunity, like a shot from Isaacson that ended up getting blocked, going out for a corner. They started to get a little bit of play there. 39th minute is when we had that floating header off Alberto that Perin
Okay.
was kind of watching, and it looked a little questionable, but he was kind of on it. It
He
hit
had
the
it
top
covered.
of the bar and back into play. We didn't really get much. A 45th minute volley from Rabiot from like 23 yards out, right at Mandas there. That's kind of it. It was a very drab first half. Like I
Look,
said,
I don't think it was the penalty. I mean, I don't think it was anything special. It's pretty regular that after like 15, 20 minutes, Juve shut down and let the other team basically control till the end of the half. I don't know if the penalty had anything to do with it. I've seen it a million times in the past 2, 3 years.
I would agree. Even this season, we've seen, a solid 10 minutes, a solid 15 minutes on either side of a
Yeah.
half, either beginning or
Hmm.
ending to it. But they really have to figure that out. They really have to. I really
Yeah.
think that's a bigger part of this battle right now. This team's fighting is keeping that enthusiasm and energy kind of good for longer stretches through matches. What do you think, Ant?
Like I'm okay with, in this league you're going to concede possession. I understand that. Teams are going to figure out for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but it's just consistently 40 minutes of us being pinned back. Not in 40 minutes, like just sort of in chunks. We're just always sort of pinned back. I can't remember the last time we had a team on their back foot for an extended period of time. Maybe Frosinone, that last win, maybe that game. But you know what I mean. Like I can't think of a time when we've really pinned a team back and controlled the game.
Yeah.
No, we heavily rely on individual moments, and
Hmm.
I mean, we can't really pass. There was this one moment that angered me because it happens every game. We had a free kick in the center of the pitch, passed it back. Lucatelli passed it to Gatti to Danilo, and Danilo, sorry, to Perin to Danilo. Then they pressed him. Kostic was too late there, and he just passed it out in
Didn't you
our own
tweet that
half.
out? Did you
Yeah,
tweet
I
that
tweeted that
video
out.
out?
Yeah, I tweeted that video out. It happens every game. It happened last game with Deshilio. Just this inability to facilitate from the back. It's either a long ball that goes well, or most of the times it doesn't.
Yeah.
And
We were
so
doing
we
that a
kind of
lot.
allow the other team to come into our half and control the game from there. We don't really push them back, and if they do push us back, they win it most
Yeah.
of the times.
We rely a
Lucky we
lot on
didn't
that pass
concede.
from. We rely a lot on that pass from the center back to straight to Dushan to lay it off. Like
Yeah,
that's
well,
seems to be our
that's
bread
not
and
a
butter. And
tactic. That's not a
I
tactic.
agree.
That's one move that could sometimes work. That's not a tactic of attack.
Definitely didn't work in
It's a
Keeneland.
sequence. It's a sequence that they try to get into, but the key there is you have to get, because we bomb Rabiot, McKennie off so early. Whoever our missiles are, they always bomb early, and they try to hit that target and try to find one of them with facing goal running forward. But it usually doesn't really work out that way for a number of
Yeah.
reasons. These guys' awareness, trying to launch to that, but that's only one sequence in the grand scheme of things. Overall, there's still a lot of work to be done, but energy and enthusiasm goes a long way, and I think that was kind of proven yesterday in this game. We get to the second half, that's much better, okay, in terms of
Yes.
energy, approach, and everything. In 49th minute, what a ball from Cambiaso. Like, that is just
Hmm.
beautiful. That is beautiful. And there's nothing out of the playbook on this one. That's just a guy that gets the ball from a slow play at the back. He beats his first man, and he's looking straight up the pitch, and he trusts his ability. He
Hmm.
trusts himself, because I really do question 90% of the players that would find themselves in that position for this Juventus side, whether they even attempt that ball. I really do.
That was my exact question that I was going to ask you. If you had to put someone there to make that pass, who are you taking?
The only other guy I think that tries it isn't even, like, maybe Alcaraz, but we don't know him well enough yet to judge whether he makes that play. Would
Danilo
Miretti
would hit
try
that.
it?
Danilo would try it.
You think Danilo would try? I don't think he would. I don't think he would. It has to be said he's moving on to his left foot. So he's moving on to his left, which he is kind of, he could play with both feet there, but he's
Is that his
predominantly
stronger
left.
foot? Was that his stronger
And
foot?
I just,
Anyways,
if you reverse sides even, let's say the play was coming from the right, I don't think any of those guys back there attempt that. I don't think
Who?
any of them do. I don't even think our midfielders, half of them do.
Yeah.
You
Who
know?
was that who pressed him?
Who is which,
Was it
sorry?
the one who pressed him that he just bypassed and then make that pass?
I can't recall who is pressed. I know Vicino was the one that was coming up to him as the second player. I can't remember who he sidestepped immediately on. I want to say maybe it was Isaacson, but I think Isaacson was on the opposite side. I can't recall.
Because
Regardless,
he just,
though,
yeah, he saw the opportunity. The press came out to him. He threw him off, and then he had like a clear lane to take advantage of. I don't know how many players would
yeah,
make that pass because most of them will start sprinting forward or pass it
hmm,
sideways, and it's that I want to see more.
yeah,
Take opportunities when they're thin at the back.
those are game-breaking plays, and we've been screaming all season we need game breakers, like, we, especially in the middle of the park, and it's a reason why we've been asking Cambiaso to even potentially play in the middle of the park to make up for it. But that's just a big heads up play from Cambiaso, and he's just becoming better and better and better. He has his moments. You could see some
hmm.
frustrations here and there, but he's got everything to become a really important player for Juventus
And
moving forward.
yeah,
Chiesa
definitely
on the back
got the
end, and we're
ball.
going to get to these guys more after the game recaps up. But Chiesa on the finish, beautiful. Like, don't overthink it. One touch, rolling in, berries. I would have liked him showing some love for for the heads up pass. That's all I'm gonna say on Fede. Like, just give the guy a little point, okay? Just give the guy a little point. But I get it. Chiesa's been under fire, a lot of criticism. Barry's, I love it. We need this guy rolling. We need all these key guys rolling down the finish of the season, all right? So, beautiful goal there, 1-0 Juventus. We kind of have a little bit of this period where everybody's wondering, are we going to park it? Are we going to keep going or whatnot? A little bit of this slowdown, but we just come back at it. We do start to generate more opportunities. And in the 63rd minute, this was actually very nice passing. There was an interchange in the midfield between Rabiot and Locatelli. And this is another sign when these guys are kind of doing better, because that hasn't happened in a long time. We've been really stagnant and everything, but they started interchanging. Rabiot found himself cutting in centrally. Locatelli had moved over to cover for him. He finds McKennie. McKennie with a heads up. Quick one side foot pass ahead, and Vlahovic is on the run 1v1. He beats his man and slots home nicely to the backside. 2-0. That's exactly what we needed to see. All right, so a beautiful goal there. McKennie's 10th assist in all competitions, and he had a game yesterday. I thought it was probably his best game for Juve ever in my mind, especially from just like a ball at his feet, and technically like just one of his best games. Very, very sound, and he covered every blade of grass on that damn pitch. Awesome game from McKennie. Guys,
Yeah.
we could pretty
Nothing
much
to add to that.
we
Nothing
could
to
pretty
add to
much
that.
wrap it up here for high, because 69th minute Gatti gets a header just wide of goal. 84th minute you get Yildiz going off on the dribbling, showing his dribbling skills and everything. Got one lucky bounce early on in it, but then took it the distance, found Vlahovic, who found Weah, and Mandas just gets a foot on this thing. Otherwise, that Weah ball getting across, Vlahovic is tapping that one home for 3, all right? But we kind of end there, and man, it's just the story of two halves there for Juventus, and we just got to look at making the second half the norm, just from an energy and attitude standpoint. But much better second half. Guys, your overviews on this game, and then you can kind of go right into man of the match. So, Ant, your thoughts on this game and your man of the match.
Yeah, again, it's a tale of two halves. So we have, in the past 10 games, we have 900 minutes, and only 45 have been, like that. So I don't think this is I don't think people out there who are, pro this or negative that, they have something to stand on to say, hey, look, I told you so. I still think this team needs a lot of improvement. Like, let's put together a 70-minute performance instead of a 45-minute performance before we start beating drums for, this or that. Again, so they stepped up in the second half. Great for the boys, the main two guys, to put some balls in the back of the net. Like, we need them scoring. That's great. Again, I've always said it. Pay Dusan the money. He's the one guy who you shouldn't be saying, hey, you want to cut your salary? No, you pay him his money, you double it. Because basically, so we go as he goes, and I think was it Luca who put it in our group chat yesterday? Like, is he the beating drum of this team? I
said it on the match day. It was one of my key points. And then Omer reiterated it in the chat. But I said, like, we seem to find our attitude and our energy from him.
Mm-hmm. So, overall, great performance from him. And I would just say he's my man of the match.
Dushan, yeah. Omar, your kind of overview on everything, and then man of the match.
First of all, I nailed my prediction almost perfectly. I had a McKennie goal in there, but got a McKennie assist instead. And I also said this would be the turning point to the end of the season, and this is what will guarantee us, staying in the Champions League and maybe even winning the Coppa. Also, a good result to take back to the Olimpico. Okay, so what we saw, there were a couple of things we talked about yesterday that we wanted to see, and we actually got them. We said we wanted players to try through passes and don't think about it too much and don't look for the move and just go for it. And they did on both occasions. Both goals came from like quick thinking, quick action. And Dushan is so much better with his face to goal than
Oh
with his
yeah.
back. We talked about Chiesa, and we don't want him to run from, every attack run from the halfway line all the way to the goal, because he's much more deadlier. His pace is much more deadlier when he's near the area. That's where it's hard. It's hard to catch, and he got the ball exactly where it needs it to gain speed on the defender and finish off easily. So yeah, very fun second half. Lazio just fell off. I mean, maybe they were tired. I don't know what it is, but they look like they didn't have it in them anymore. Casale's introduction also kind of shook the defense, and yeah, we were good finally.
Yeah. My overview is exactly what I stated. I was looking for right energy attitude. As far as does it change everything we've just seen for the past 9 games? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Does it, because we were hearing a lot about even Giuntoli reiterating everything with Allegri and the objectives and everything, and really making it sound like we are keeping everything the same and they are looking to extend. It's just these objectives and everything that we wait for. We are going to get to Allegri's words, the players, and everything, but for me, it really doesn't change anything. One game will not change anything. I'm actually of the belief, and we will get to this in a bit, that what happens down the stretch doesn't even change anything. I believe it's already decided, to be honest. But in terms of man of the match, I am gonna go with Vlahovic. It has to be. He had a strong match all around. The hold up play was excellent. His touch was brilliant. The attitude, urging the crowd on, driving his teammates forward. I loved it. That's exactly what we need from this guy. I think, and I said this a while ago, in 2024, the doubts that were there around Vlahovic, he has crushed. Like, he has crushed those doubts. People could still have doubts about him and everything, but he has made the best case out of all the guys that were on the cusp there, and you were thinking about maybe making a move. He's kind of smashed that for me. And yeah, I would definitely move forward with Vlahovic. If we're talking about our big three, I still think that there's one guy there that is kind of behind everyone. A lot of people didn't agree with the answer I gave to one of our overrated players being Federico Chiesa based on what he's produced this season. But I stand firm, and one game does not change that for me. And we still needed a ton of criticism coming out for him to change his attitude. And I don't think it's a coincidence, right? He needed to wake up. He needed to do better. But if we're talking about these key guys, some big decisions coming for Juventus. But we're going to get to their words now. Chiesa in press conference. So great words, great presser on his end. I'll be serious. We all needed this victory, even the fans. We haven't shaken off this period, though. It's just one match. Now we must think towards the championship. Exactly. Criticisms we faced were fair. When the results don't arrive at Juventus, it's right to revive them and listen to them. But this victory can lead us out of crisis. On Sunday, we need to play a great match against Fiorentina. At Juventus, the pressure is always high. You play for a historic club with 12 million fans. The criticism is right. The face that we drew with Empoli and then went to San Siro and suffered the match rather than being courageous was something we found difficult to deal with in subsequent matches. The Scudetto dream is over, and when a big dream like that ends, it's difficult. When you play at Juventus, you play for the Scudetto, and rightfully so. A bit to dissect there and everything. Great words.
Yeah, we know. We know, Fred. Thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't really change anything. It still happened. I'm going to be quite honest. I'm kind of infuriated. And I'm not infuriated by what Federico Chiesa said, I'm infuriated that there's been nothing stopping this team from at least playing with the effort that we saw in the second half of yesterday's game.
Yep.
That's what infuriates me about this whole situation, this moment, and everything, is that there was nothing stopping that from happening. In terms of Chiesa's words, and really all the guys' words, I appreciate it, but you really have to back it up and consistently. That's all it comes down to. You can't save your job. And I'm not saying we have to sell Chiesa. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying for any of our players and our manager, you can't just come out, say the right thing, and then all is forgotten. You know? Anything to add to that, fellas, in terms of their words, or his words at least? And
well, the words are exactly what we want to hear. We want the players to feel the same way we feel. So I don't know. I guess that's how he feels, and not what he just says to the cameras. So that's a good interview.
yeah,
Actually, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I hope everyone feels this way.
yeah, I just need them again to show it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Freddie, we know. Yeah, you're upset that you lost Scudetto. Great. Now, does that excuse you from a 7-game schneid? No. Pick it up, get in the field, and do your job. You guys haven't been doing your job. Yeah, we know you're sad. Suck it up. There's still football to play.
There you go. There you go. Now, Vlahovic's presser. On Sunday, we play an important tie in the championship. And for now, we go match to match. I don't care if I could have done better individually if the team wins. That's all that matters. Who scores doesn't. Let's hope our bad period is over. Today we played a good match. I thank the fans for coming today and hope they continue to support us. Compliments to the coach for the way he prepared us. Again, there's nothing else to say. Good, strong words. I appreciate what they showed on the pitch. I need to see it, but the question has to be asked, because we were talking about it earlier on and whatnot. Has Vlahovic become the beating heart of Juventus?
100%.
Chat? And 100%.
When we signed this guy all those many months ago, I said, he's not there yet, right? He's not there yet. But I said this guy could become the Trezeguet of this generation, right? And he's moving in that direction, and I'm happy that he's finally moving in that direction. I am 1,000% behind Dusan. You could sell anybody else in this team. I don't care who it is. Well, maybe Bremer, maybe not Bremer, but Dusan is the future of this team. He is 100% what this team needs.
Omer.
Yeah, I would agree. Those were my feelings, because the past games, I think the past 3 games where he was suspended like twice, we were really lifeless. We looked just like a bunch of guys playing at the park. And he brings some sort of energy, and he talks to everyone, and he keeps everyone focused. And yeah, he is the beating heart of this team, and he had a great game. He was my man of the match too. Now he accounts for 70% of our goals.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a striker. He does his job. He gets paid for it. He actually, out of everyone right now, I think he's the only one who's justifying the salary he gets. Yeah, you pay me 7 million to score goals. I'm scoring 70% of your goals.
Yeah.
He accounts for 30%, 29%.
If we're looking at this, I still would love to see, just for the club, the financials kind of cleaned up a bit, and I would like to see them work something out. But to be honest, we've been talking about this for a while. When you're talking about players that deserve hikes in pay, and if that's the holdup with Chiesa, I'm sorry, everybody. I don't think he's got the leg to stand on in terms of making that demand. I don't think based on this season, he can make those demands. I'm sorry. I don't feel that way. Duchan's got every right to stand firm on where he's at. I think 2024, he's made that. I just want to see it from a club perspective because it will help us if we could bring the annual cost down or whatnot by spreading out the money that's remaining in his contract. But in terms of has he made the case? Absolutely, 1,000%. For any talks of, I see some comments about consistency, all this and everything. Well, our entire team isn't really consistent. And he also has to get the ball. It is a team game. Like, you have to find him in scenarios that, you know, it all has to work and it all has to come together. But in terms of bringing the intangibles that we can honestly say a lot of the guys on this team haven't, Duchan's taken a massive, massive jump forward in terms of that. Because one of my main knocks towards this guy was the attitude.
Mm-hmm.
The sulking, the pissing and moaning. Something happened, okay, where this guy now, it's like a switch went off. And now he's supporting teammates. He's trying to bring them forward. He's trying to hype them up a bit and just be like, don't worry about that, you know, and support them. Again, a little sign of the intangibles and everything. Chiesa and Cambiaso got into, and this happens in games, whatever, but they got into another argument over what happens on the pitch when arguably Cambiaso should have done much better on a ball played in from Chiesa. But you know what? Stop fucking pissing and moaning about it, Chiesa, and just move on with the fucking game. Don't rag on this guy, because to be honest, you scored that goal, but you haven't really pulled your weight from a personal standpoint up ahead of that. So I really appreciate seeing that out of Vlahovic. And yeah, I'm going a little all in on Chiesa because the goal, that's great. Do it all the bloody time. You know, like, just let's see that Chiesa, you know, with the right attitude all the time. But again, it's kind of why I highlighted that not pointing to him, showing love for that ball. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. And it can be
we're
said.
We're gonna talk about Duchan's hair. I mean,
we could.
It's horrible. Like, when he came to Juve, he had this, I don't know, just long hair. Now he looks like, I don't know, he just woke up from bed.
You want to talk about hair?
No.
Omer, come on, man.
You guys both have full heads of hair. Hair is a big issue for me. Give me a wig and I'll stop talking about Duchan's hair. Or maybe a hat.
Just picking at the scab there on the hair. Woo.
It's okay. We call him old all the time.
Yeah, it's true. It's all good.
If anyone should be, you know, picking up their play and not complaining, it should be Chiesa, because it could be argued we have his replacement on the bench. There is no replacement. You know, you can make the argument. Well, you got Yildiz, you got Sule, you got whoever you want. I don't know. But there is nobody who's even coming close to what Vlahovic is doing. Like, Keane, come on. Milik, please.
I still say, out of, you know, the other guys that could potentially, you know, we own, like a Sule or even Yildiz here, whatnot, Chiesa is still far more dangerous of a player.
Agreed.
I just need him to bring the intangibles consistently. I have seen more grit. Okay, so while I did knock him, I do have to give him some positives too, because there has been more grit to his game. A lot less Barella-esque flopping and more fight. That has been seen, and I appreciate that from Chiesa. I'm rooting for Chiesa more than anyone, okay? Mainly because I'm running such a brutal track record on jerseys, you guys. I'm going to start going to blanks because I need some guys to stick around going into next season. And yeah, it's been an awful track record. All right. But now we got to get to the main man, Max Allegri. Will always be this polarizing figure here. His presser. So Vlahovic and Chiesa, these are positive signs. The others did well too. I'm sorry about Alex Sandro Whistles. He has 300 games at Juventus and an extraordinary professional who won many championships and trophies. He made important interventions. I think whistles like these towards players are wrong, and the fans must show some respect. In the championship, we need to be realistic. We burned what we had on these who were behind us. We have to take it one step at a time, and we will hit our targets. We have 50 difficult days ahead of us now and must remain calm. Fans' support to me, I have great respect for them, but they must support the team. I hear that we played badly, but the boys have never lacked in their commitment to the club. They played as a team with great humility and determination. The boys should rightly enjoy this evening. I have to go first to the Sandro cheering. You guys know, everyone knows where I stand with Sandro. Okay? And this is coming from me. You don't jeer your player. Okay? You
just bunch of idiots.
You don't do that. We were winning the game. He came in late, whatnot. And the thing is that my real thing about Sandro is more geared towards the management that never acted accordingly, in my opinion, in terms of moving him on. I do believe he shouldn't have gotten a contract extension that was this clause through games last season. I do believe that, but their actions are the ones that lead me to kind of take it out on him through jokes and comments I make here on the show. If I was there in person, would I jeer this guy? Would I do it? No. And I showed that in Los Angeles. He walked over. He signed one of the kits that we had when all the players walked by the sideline. And do you know what I said to him? Because he was sticking around, he was going to be playing. I said, I wish you nothing but the best this season. In bocca al lupo. That's it. That's it. I'm not going to say leave my club. I'm not going to show that level of disrespect. We can have our opinions. We can discuss it here on a show. But to go to that level is wrong, in my opinion. Anth was on the same side. He says not behind that, obviously.
It's childish. It's childish, really. Okay, you said it perfectly. You can be against what he's like, his play over the past little while. I honestly think he hasn't been an issue this year. People keep talking about him being an issue this year. Can you point to a game that he's hurt us this year? I can't. Maybe one. So I don't really believe in him having that much of a downfall this season. I agree that we should have potentially moved on from him many years ago. Sure, but the guy has over 300 appearances. What are we talking? He's going to be in the Juventus Hall of Fame. He already is. So deal with it. Bunch of kids.
He'll be in the museum there. Omer, your thoughts on the Sandro jeers?
Well, I can't whistle anyway, so I wouldn't have done that.
You can't?
Yeah, it's like Ant said, it's childish. There's no point to it. It's
right.
Okay, I get it if he had a bad performance and then he gets subbed out. Yeah, emotions can be high and you sort of go along with the rest. That I can understand. I wouldn't do it, but I understand it. But to a guy coming on, I don't hate Alexandro the person. I hate the way he plays football, but he seems like a great guy. He never said anything bad about the club. He doesn't complain. There's just, I don't want to see him play, but I don't hate him. I wouldn't whistle just for coming on. You do that to someone you hate, usually to someone from the other team.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny to me how you can have that feeling toward someone.
It's it's a different beast to take it to that level and actually jeer. Again,
What's to be gained? He's out
It,
of
it,
contract anyway. We're winning 5 minutes left.
it's a bad look for the fans and the tifosi, in my personal opinion. This kind of goes to the same as what we've been talking about with Max when that whole billboard thing came out. I said, look, you can have your opinions. We talk about speculation and news all the time here and give our thoughts and opinions. And we've said, you know what? Yeah, we'd make a move. Like last summer, we were all saying, yeah, make a move.
Mm-hmm.
But to take out a billboard space, again, for me, is a bad look. And jeering your players, okay? If it's a bad performance and you're not singling out a player, I can understand the jeers. I can understand that. If, let's say, the game's not going the way you want, it's a brutal display, you're not getting, we're during this run, and at the end, you finally voice your disgust by jeering, whistling, whatever, I can understand that. To single out one player as he enters a match, that's a bit different. It's a bit different, okay? In terms of Allegri, the rest of his words, yeah, I mean, again, it really, it's great. It's fine. You've kind of acknowledged things. There was a blurb about him stating that the bad run is his. I wasn't able to actually find that. And maybe it wasn't transcribed and put over in the article, but apparently he did say he was responsible for the current bad run. But one of the words he says is that, and he backed everything that we've said on this show. Words I've been heavily criticized for when I said that you're in the seat that bears the most weight. And when you hit a run like that is completely unacceptable, you will be looked at first. He said the exact same thing using different words, saying that the results have been bad during this stretch. We can still achieve a couple goals of Coppa Italia and Champions League qualification. He says, when the results do not come, it is right to look at the coach. That is the spot that is first up on the gridiron. It's
That's not what Twitter told me. Twitter told me it's only the players.
It's the way it is. He is there bearing the most weight. We can acknowledge our players and the roster and the gaps and everything. But again, going to my infuriation, what stopped us from doing what we did in the second half here over a course of 9 games?
900 minutes.
Nothing. Now, I'm going to say this, and I want to know if everybody here in the live chat and you guys feel the same way, because there's a million mixed signals on Max Allegri. I personally feel that nothing else in terms of qualification for Champions League, in terms of the Coppa Italia, I don't believe any of it matters. And I feel Juve already has made their decision. Do you think they have, or do you think it's still on ice?
Well, I answered it yesterday, and
oh no, he's gone. There's no way with this much discontent. Last year it made sense because of the financials, right? Just the financials alone just didn't make sense. I cannot see a way that they keep this guy. That in that first half, now again, a lot of the blame can be put on the players, but in that first half, when that ball came out to Kies on the right side and McKennie was burning up, and Max put out the stop sign to stop the play and start play it back, I was like, what the hell was that? What the hell was that?
The fans that was a moment where they all got vocal. And we're like, what are you doing?
All right. I was like, I try to, okay, I was running the main yesterday, so I try and keep my personal opinions off of that, obviously, but I can't see it anymore with this guy. I really can't. I've done my best. I think I've done yeoman's work to try and look at the positives, and then I can't anymore with this guy.
I just
Well,
can't erase what just happened. Like I said,
Right.
I can't erase what just happened. And at some point, if I feel energy, attitude, motivation is one of the major factors during that run, that is a small ask from a manager point of view, in my opinion.
Like I think he's a good players manager. I don't think there's any issues in the locker room whatsoever,
I
which is
just
great.
have no idea what management's going to do, but I feel like their decision is made. And I don't know what that is, but I feel like it's already made. I feel like they know.
yeah. Well, first of all, the bad times might still be happening. I mean, we have to see how this continues, and this wasn't just a fluke. Um, and Max, I mean, looking back at those 3 years, the second tenure, can anyone call it a success by any measure?
Some can somehow. Some people say, "Well, look at the
No,
rosters
no.
that he's had."
Some will argue that it's not Max's fault at all and the roster was bad. Well, I mean, Max was here for those 3 years. The roster has changed. Players have came and went. And still, 3 years, enough transfer windows, enough time to build something to do. The last 3 years have been a failure. Max has been the coach in the last 3 years. I can't blame four or three different rosters and, rid Max of all guilt. It doesn't work
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. It's it's really really tough right now because the media is going to play on it. I talked about this months ago that they're going to take it full advantage of everything that we're hearing, everything that's going on, that it's just they're going to give us mixed signals in all directions. I still say, if the reason I have absolutely no idea, and I don't feel so comfortable taking Juntoli's words, like Sam brings up here, calling his men for the roles in the club. About time he choose his trusted men for his project, including the coach. Um, we're seeing that little bit of a shakeup now. Cherubini moving on, Mana moving on, Juntoli ready to set. Is Max going to be the guy for him? That's the big question. For me, I Skira's been too good for too long. 4 years. Nico Skira has been money. If he's saying that there are active discussions and they're strongly looking at Malta, I believe it. I do. So I'm not going to buy into the pressers ahead of every match, asking Juntoli the exact same question, 2 days separated. You're not going to find your answers. All we have to do is wait and see. But I do believe it's decided. And I feel like it's a moment where we brought up on the preview show, Omer, they're going to be looking at a guy that I think they don't want to slip away for long term, for longevity. That's what I feel. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
In terms of other decisions have to be made with players. Weston McKennie. This guy keeps coming up, and I find myself flipping from, man, should we cash in, or you just got to keep this guy around? I want to know where you guys are at with Weston.
What's the current salary and what does he want?
He's at like 3.5 gross. Okay. And he wants, obviously, they apparently approached him with something lower, and he wants a bit more. 10 total assists, all comps, assist leader on the team. But yeah, I find myself even if he's a bench player, I feel like I'm starting to lean towards we got to keep this guy around. Like
I think we have to keep him. I think we got to get creative with the contract, though. That it's not like some sort of like 6-year, 5-year deal at $4.5 million. You're locked into it.
Because he's at so 3.2. 3.2 is the gross salary. He is below Thiago Jallo by $500K. He's below Moise Keane by $650K. He's below Milik by almost 2 mil. He's below Danilo by just shy of 2.3 million. He is less than Rugani by 3.3 million. Okay.
Well, that's enough. He deserves 4.
He's less
Yeah.
than Rabiot
Yeah, he
by
deserves 4.
like almost 6 million, less than Rabiot. Less than Chiesa by 6 mil, less than Bremer by 6 mil, less than Alexandro by 8 mil.
So if you look at some of those names, there aren't going to be here next year, and some of them are looking to restructure anyway. So I think I think Juntley wants to see what he can do with other contracts before he works on Weston's, and who else can we bring in, right? Because we're going to be bringing in midfielders that we're going to be paying more than him,
Yeah. The
or in and
question,
around the
no.
same range.
So let's do the math. Okay, how many midfielders are we going with next season? Like, how many would we have by the end of the season? Okay, Pogba is out. Fajoli is back.
I
And
wouldn't say that.
why?
I still think Pogba's coming back. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Okay, well,
He's
that's
gonna
your
he's gonna win his court case, and then
yeah, but that's
he's
your wishful thinking. I'm talking about the current
that's not
status.
quite wishful.
I can also assume that Rabiot doesn't extend, but I don't know yet.
I think
Okay,
Rabiot's
so
gone.
that's McKennie, Fajoli, Miretti, Locatelli, Nicolucci, and Rabiot. Those are the guys. How much would it cost to replace McKennie? Like, how much money would you allocate to make that deal if you sell him?
It's going to cost you $20 million to replace him.
Yeah, sounds about right. And do they plan? I mean, I think they need to be straight with him. Do they plan on him being a starter next season?
I think they're gonna
yeah,
see
he's
how
one
things
of the better
shake out.
performers. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's one of the better performers. He can cover multiple positions. That's not that easy to find. And with the list of players you just read that make more than him, I think he deserves to ask for 4 based on this season. The stage of his career, everything, I think he's earned the right. Or tell him he's not part of the first team plans and he'll decide what he wants to do.
I think the new manager. I think that's why they're waiting on the new manager. What's planned
Yeah.
if they go with the new manager? What's the new managers think of him? But again, even that.
Well, you
When's
gotta
his
make
contract
some
expire, Berto?
decisions. What's that?
Mhm.
When does his contract expire? Is it 2025?
I'm just pulling it up right now. So his contract with Juventus will end in next summer, June 2025.
Yeah.
If you're gonna move him, now's the time, or you do extend him. In terms
Mm-hmm.
of the finances, that's where it gets difficult because when we're looking at the salary and we're looking at that list of players, even if you're a bench guy, okay, you're making less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bench guys right now that are making significant money above you. So 5 guys, 3 of those guys making a lot more money than you. That kind of sets the tone. So that, like I said, McKennie,
The tone.
I'd like to see the money at least remain the same. The fact that they went in lower is a little bit of a slap in the face to the guy,
Yeah.
and that could have been enough to maybe say, you know what? Yeah,
But
maybe I will move on.
they're doing that with everybody. If it was just him, I agree. But it seems like they're doing that across the board, and they're
Not
wiping some of
really.
those big salaries are going to be gone.
Not really, though, because what they're trying to do with the other guys is bring it down annually. The money stays the same. They still get the same allotment. It's just spread
extended.
out. They're actually looking at a complete lowered wage is what was presented to him. So
Yes.
it's really, really
Look,
tough spot.
there's also a case to be made for his mentality. There's something very likable about him. At the beginning of the season, they tried to sell him when he came back from the loan after they loaned him, and he asked Max, "What do I need to do to play?" And I think he's living up to it. I think he took it as a personal mission. I want to be a starter. I need to run until May, and that's what I'm going to do, and it shows on the field.
guy's playing with a separated shoulder. What are we talking about
If you
here?
look at this list, though, like
and back in the
Keane is
dressing
probably
room.
going to be moved. Milik is probably going to be moved. What is the harm in giving him a little bit of boost on what he's at? Like, how does a guy like Jallo, who just came in, instantly get more money than him, and then you offer Weston less? You're setting yourself up for failure as a management. You can't do that. So I understand where Weston's coming from.
And I know some people say,
also
well,
a very
sell
fun
him,
guy.
Sell him and you can replace him with the money you make. Well, hang on. If you sell him, right, you automatically have to use that money to replace his position if you find a buyer, let's just say. But you're still down now 2 strikers, right? Because you have those 2 gone. Potentially Milik and Keane. You're down Sandro. You're probably down Rabiot, another midfielder, right? A lot of people are, well, let's just sell players to make money. We are sellers first, I agree, but we still have a lot of holes to fill. We can't just sell everybody.
We also picked him up for what, like 22 mil. It was 26 something, like altogether with a loan on top of it. The first year, so it was 25, like 26 and a half in 21-22. Contract for 4 years. So what we're at 5 and a bit annually, it costs 10. So we stand about what, 15, 16 million roughly on this guy. There's not a lot of capital to be made anyways. You have a lot of work to do on this roster. Sell McKennie, yes or no? The poll question for the live chat right now, 58% saying sell. There's not a ton of capital we're going to see. He's outplaying a lot of guys well above his salary. I say keep him. I say keep him right now. I would extend.
He also looks important in the dressing room. I mean, he's a very fun guy. He's always, laughing. He seems very lovable by the rest of the team, but it all disappears when he steps on the pitch. So it's not like this goofball.
Yeah, he's getting the job done. He's playing through some shoulder problems. I think it'd probably be in our best interest to keep him, all right? We are going to get to storm the barn, and I do want to talk Cambiasso and everything, but we got to get a couple pieces of business out of the way. A little bit of news we'll tackle as well, but we got to get to, real quick, tweet of the match. AJC tweet of the match. So, we had one from our friend at Around Turin there. Let me try and track this one down right here. VAR room checking the book of a million reasons not to award Juve a favorable decision. I like that. It's
right there in the rules, man. Like,
it's accurate. Accurate as well. Great tweet.
Just have to flip to page million.
Then you had our friend Ale from Bianconeri Zone, who we are trying to tee up with another show. Him and I, just schedules are busy and everything. But he came out with Vlahovic and Chiesa when Allegri is 1 game away from the sack. That's a pretty good one, all right? So,
sad but true.
Guys, what's your pick?
Alejandro's. Yeah.
Alejandro's?
Yeah, I really like this one, even though I'm not a Lakers fan.
Yeah. I think this is probably going to be the winner there. So we'll let Alejandro know he's won sweet FA, but congratulations, all right? Now, in other news.
Prime Shaq. Was there anything scarier on the planet? Either like Shaquille O'Neal in his prime or Mike Tyson on cocaine. One of those two are the scariest human beings.
Shaq was just a force, man. Just a force. But Mike Tyson, come on. What are we talking about here?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, this is a touch of class.
I'm already putting my order in. I don't care if it doesn't exist yet. I've already put my order in.
This is just a touch of class. Come on, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?
I'm
in.
Every bit of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Triples of all of it.
That's a beauty.
Triples of all of it. Like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And the third kit is going to be along this lines. Obviously, dark kit does have some lightish blue kind of accents around it in like a pattern, and the numbers, name sets are supposed to be gold.
Don't change it. Don't accent. Don't black with gold I like, but don't change it. Just leave it just like that.
Well, no, this is just the training gear, but the kit that we're supposed to have is black, based on this with the trefoil logo and then the horse, bull, zebra, however you want to interpret that. And then it's going to be like that, but it's black, it's dark, but they're saying it's maybe not necessarily black. It could be like a dark blue, but it looks black in the photos I've seen. And then it has like a lighter kind of pattern on it that you can't really either see. And then the name sets and everything are gold on the back. It looks class either way. I'm excited for this.
Are all clubs doing these throwbacks? I know Roma just came out with one. Is this like a vintage?
Yeah, they're doing with the old school Adidas logo, the trefoil logo, and some heritage designs from clubs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's gonna be sweet.
I love every bit of this.
You know what's interesting about this is if you get this on the kit, like the rumors of Ferrari being our sponsor next season, like it's not far off. And then,
oh come on, do we want to be interrogated again?
What do you?
Yeah,
Jeep is like a part of the Fiat group, and the Elcans and Exor are all in there too.
We don't need
kind of the same thing.
I'm with all.
Yeah, that's basically what Man City are doing, being sponsored by another company owned by their owner. So the deals between them are massive. That's how they have a lot of money.
If you think that's going to stop investigations around Juve,
that's going to add more fuel.
No, we're already there with Jeep. That's what I'm saying. It's the same difference. Difference.
Okay, I might not be able to stick around for Storm the Barn questions because I actually have something to do in 7 minutes. But I do have a question. So I got a new jersey for the wall in the back. I need help.
Another Morata.
No. Come on. Okay, so I went with.
And there's the storm.
And the windstorm takes it out. Okay, there we go.
I'm back. Okay, good. Here's a bit of a windstorm. Okay, I went with the old school Brescia.
Oh, Baggio Brescia jersey. Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Now, do I put it on the wall? Am I still freezing up? God damn it. Okay, good thing I'm leaving. Do I put it on the wall with the front facing out or the back facing out? I don't know which one to do. Help me out.
Well, do you have one with Baggio on the back? You have the Azzurri one, don't you?
Yeah, I got the
94 Baggio there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
That's 94.
Can you just hang it?
Brescia.
Can I just hang it? When am I 12?
But who really cares about Brescia, right?
Ceiling,
so you'd have to put the Baggio back there.
Put the Baggio out. All right. I see a couple backs here. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
There you go. All right. We got to get to Storm the Barn, man. We've gone long on a couple of things here.
I got to roll.
Ant's going to sign off. Later,
I'll be busy, my friends. Until Sunday.
You betcha. All right. So, Ant is gone. We are going to get that cleaned up. All right. We're going to get myself and Omer a little bit. Let's get a little bit of space here, man. Okay. Now we can you're muted, by the way.
Less intimate. Yeah. I felt too close now to you.
Yeah, I know, man. It's like, you're
like
sitting at a pub in a booth with your buddies and finally a couple leave or something. And you're like, okay, let's spread out here. Let's get some room. All right.
Like we sat in a cab in the back in the two left seats and no one's on the right.
There we go. Okay. We're going to get to Storm the Barn. All right. Let's go. What do we got first up? I think we had one up from Adam. Who would you like to face if we go through we're going through to the final, baby. Okay, we're going through to the final. Who do you want to face in the final, Omer? Why?
To be completely honest, I don't remember who's playing in the other semifinal. What is like Fiorentina and Atalanta or something like that?
Yeah, so they're going to be playing today, okay? And their first leg, I think it's at the same time that ours was, around noon my time. It's Fiorentina, it's Atalanta. I'd rather play Fiorentina because Atalanta gives us fits. I'd rather play Fiorentina.
Yeah, me too. I kind of think Like Atalanta are sort of our antidote.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we always have a tough time against them. Fiorentina are like a hit and miss type of team. Sometimes they're just amazing, and sometimes it's just bottom level team.
Yeah.
And I
You've
think they'll
got
crumble under the pressure of the final.
Yeah, Atalanta's been in really solid form. They are going to be spread out European play and everything, but I still prefer Fiorentina. Fiorentina's had a tough time scoring goals this season. Give me them. Give me them. And I think it bodes well for us. And yes, their game is today. All right. So noon my time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fiorentina, Atalanta will go their first leg. Okay. Now we got Soiree coming in here. According to me, Chiesa, Vlahovic, Bremer, Cambiaso, and Yildiz are the 5 pillars of Juventus. They should be kept at all costs to compete in Serie A, Champions League, and Club World Cup. Your thoughts? Are those your 5 pillars?
Uh, I don't want to call Ildiz a pillar just yet, because he didn't have enough playing time, and he's young. I mean, I don't want to put that type of pressure on him. But that was like my next question. So if not Ildiz, then Locatelli. But I think it's an absolute crime that Ildiz doesn't start every match. We have no time to lose, and is one of our better attackers, like third after Dushan and Chiesa. He has to
Yeah,
play every game.
I think we should be looking at getting him in a lot more. It's tough when you're only using him as that secondary piece to Chiesa. We do have to get Chiesa and Vlahovic rolling down the stretch has to happen. It has to happen. But now you're faced with looking at this, and these are the pillars, if we want to name them, whatever, but you got to bring money in the summer. So give me the one name you move out of your pillars.
Um, yeah, probably Locatelli.
Locatelli.
Yeah,
Yeah,
out
I
of
don't.
those 5, yeah, probably Locatelli.
Yeah, so if I had Chiesa, Vlahovic, Bremer, Cambiaso, Locatelli, I got to move one of them. It's probably going to come down to how much capital comes in and what we could do with that piece. I don't want to lose Bremer just yet, but we talked about this yesterday. If you get Hermoso, if you could bring Calafiori and keep the rest together, I
I just don't want to.
I'd reluctantly look at that because I don't see a lot of capital coming in the Locatelli move. Um, and I think that we're looking at boosting the midfield too, but I don't know if it's tough.
We can't
McKennie,
keep
Rabiot, like, man.
we can't keep going around with this defender thing and have a new world class defender every 2 3 years. We've passed on a lot because of our senior players. We've passed on Romero, on Dragashin, on Demiral. Okay, he's not top
But
player,
the
but
release
still.
clause sets the tone, anyways. Like the fact that they even wanted that in there shows me he's looking to move at some point. Like I don't see him being this long-term pillar, regardless of what we want.
Yeah, but
So
we need him in the build to make this team better. I mean, other areas are far more pressing, and I don't want to create another pressing issue before we deal with some of the other, maybe this summer or next January. So Bremer needs to stay for now. So if someone has to go, I feel like Lucatelli would be easily replaceable compared to Bremer.
yeah, I just don't see the funds coming in that really help this club out. Like they won't on a Locatelli
Well,
deal.
Lucatelli still can fund like a Summerzic or someone like that. I mean, we're not going for a top name, right? That's out of our reach.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like you're gonna have to spend to boost the midfield significantly anyways, and that one's not bringing in enough money. Like you're gonna have to sell a few guys. I Locatelli's not bringing in a lot of capital, and then you're still looking to spend. Like we might have to. this release clause thing, it kind of changed everything for me. I do agree with you in principle. You have to keep Bremer around next year. You have to. But I've also kind of shifted to, you got to integrate Huijsen. I think Calafiori would be a big push, should go for Calafiori. And I think we should move on Hermoso on a free. Thiago Jallo can play across in a back four. You're going to be saying goodbye to Sandro. Facundo Gonzalez might have to be used in the move for Calafiore. Like, there's some options there, but it's going to be very, very difficult. But as far as who are the pillars, I agree that I would put those guys as pillars for Juventus. Huijsen, some are thrown in there. Sure. 2J saying that, Alberto, I will move Chiesa and bring in Sule and invest the Chiesa sale on other players. Again, really depends on what kind of interest comes in for all these guys. And that's going to play a lot in who I pick to move. I'm going to be flat out honest. It's really going to come down to the deals. We're going to go to another one here. This one comes in from Mark 1. Is the Mana move to Napoli a loss for Juventus?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
because
so
he had
either.
to work. Because he had to work with Juntali. Juntali is the main man, and in return we get Juntali's guys, the guys who worked with him at Napoli. So it seems like a fair trade.
I could see maybe looking at it that way in terms of what he did for next gen and everything. And we have now lost Tognozzi, now Mana, who are both key figures for the next gen. But as of right now, and the plan going forward has always been Giuntoli. And the names that are looking at coming in were rumored immediately when Giuntoli came in. And I think now they're just facilitating the full shift for Giuntoli and his crew to take things from here. And we spoke about the cleanup yesterday, and I think part of Cherubini being tied to the Arriva Bene, Agnelli side and everything is, hey, it's your mess too. Help clean up, and then we'll move forward. I don't see it as a loss. No. It's going to be Giuntoli's show, and that was what the aim was. Now we're just moving towards it. So I won't say a loss. No. Now, what else do we got? If you get to choose a youngster that's a regen of an old Juventus player that comes up from next gen, which Juve legend would you choose?
Well, like, there are three right answers.
My obvious answer is Del Piero. It's my guy.
Piero, Baggio, or Zidane.
Yeah.
If you want to throw Ronaldo in there, Platini, any world class player who's ever played for Juve,
Yeah.
I would love any of them. Nedved.
Del Piero's my guy. I would go with Del Piero.
Yeah, but Del Piero is like the complete package of captaincy and attitude. Yeah, easily.
Yeah. Now RB Comps wants to let his thoughts known on the Sandro, so he's storming the barn with a statement, not even a question. Thoughts on the Sandro booing? Oh, okay, he's asking our thoughts. Well, we said that it was brutal and shouldn't really be happening. I can understand jeering the entire club on a bad performance, bad game, but singling out a player, not for me. He says it's embarrassing, especially when we were winning. Agreed. Bad look for the Tifosi. Bad look. All right. And it's just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense here. We got Mark coming in with another one. We are getting close to wrap up. If we do manage to reach the top 4 in Serie A and win the Coppa Italia, does that mean that we will be financially viable to purchase top players?
No.
In short form, no. What's going to happen is the last we've known of the numbers is 123 million euros still looking to clean up. The Club World Cup money is going to probably come in around later next year as the tournament is in the summer. I don't think you get it immediately upon beginning of next season. We'll have to wait for the actual numbers, finances to come out to see when it's applied. Champions League money will be immediate. all of a sudden, the 80 million euro that we were looking at, last report was 60. Last report we saw was 60 million euros for the Champions League money. So significantly less. They're working on cleaning everything up. I still believe that we are, if all things go according to plan, looking at the following summer as when we should be at a kind of a base starting point of working from there. And still at that point, I don't think we're going to be just jumping on top players. And it depends what we consider top players, because our business model might change to going back to those days of 40 to 50 being our splashes. No more delicts at 90, etc. Like, I think we're probably going to be looking at that being our splash for quite some time. What do you think, Omer?
Well, it never ends with, just the straight up cash paid for the player. It's also with top players, it's a heavy salary these days. If you don't sign them young and on a low contract, anyone you want to sign would demand a huge salary. And we should have learned by now, because signing someone on like 50 million a year, that's a commitment to the length of the contract. And we know now that anything can happen. I mean, we've already suffered from those long-term commitments for a lot of money. And so I would think they would want to avoid that and try to keep everything close and tight, and not offering 15 million to 4 years and then another COVID hits and suddenly you still have to pay that player.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they, how things shape up. Sponsorships coming in, a lot of different things that are going to change the outlook and everything, but we can just only wait right now. There's still work to be done in terms of the cleanup, and what we do with these players is going to have a big effect on that as well. The sales coming up. So it could maybe speed things up a little bit, but as far as this summer immediately goes, no. Shouldn't be changing anything.
Like, let's say, what's the most you'd pay for a player? What's like the highest salary you'd give a player?
The highest salary? I think we've reached that with like Duchamp. Like, I wouldn't go above that for no chance.
Okay. And how many
mil?
And how many top players in the world, top players, get less than that, or that exactly?
Well, a lot of them are way more.
Yeah. So
way more. Like Goretzka, for instance, is making what, 17?
Yeah, and that's not like even a top 20
exactly.
player in the world.
Exactly. It's it's just I don't see it happening. I think we're gonna go back to old ways, and the character signings are gonna be crucial for us.
Yeah.
And top salary for Juve should not exceed 6.5 million. That's gonna be difficult. Unless we're talking net, 6.5. Okay.
Well, you might get Kefren Turam maybe for that price, which I still would love to have, by the way. I'm still hoping this would happen.
That's why I say, like, finding, young guys, young talents that you can bring in, and even Coop Mainers, for instance, we would be boosting his salary at 4.5 million euros. That would be a pay hike for him. I still say that's a good signing for Juventus. I still want Samardzic on with that as well, who makes little for salary. But for me, Bobby coming in hot here on Rabiot. Get rid of Rabiot. Don't commit with his 1-year extension. We don't really need that in our team. I've kind of been at the point of pushing that aside and moving to I would lose Rabiot. I'd bring in Coop Mainers. I'd look at keeping McKennie. I'd still look at bringing in a Samardzic, hopefully, maybe a Ferguson, but I prefer Samardzic. I even prefer Goodmanson above Samardzic, or above Ferguson, to be honest. But there's options out there that we could save a lot in terms of salary. They just we'll have to wait and see what actually comes. In terms of Juventus, we'll find out who's going to put 1 foot closer to the final in today's game between Fiorentina and Atalanta. We've got Fiorentina then on the weekend at home. We're obviously going to preview that. I'm going to be bringing a live watch along, but the remainder of the games in April, people keep asking, what do you think Juve is going to finish with for points going down April? In terms of league, we've got Fiorentina, Torino, Cagliari, and AC Milan. Those 4 games. Omer, how many points do you think Juve is getting in those matches?
I want to say.
Yeah.
I want to say 7.
7 points. So 2 wins, draw. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. It is up to Juventus to show to us that they're going to use that match yesterday as a turning point. Was it enough for all of you to believe in this turning point and that game marking the turning point? Is it enough for you to believe that they can finish strong enough to get the job done with these teams below them pushing? Fiorentina this weekend, I think we will have the right approach. We'll still be at home. I think they will get the job done. Torino?
Well, that was my statement yesterday. The Lazio game will be the turnaround until the end of the season.
I hope so. But again,
Yeah.
it's one half. Even that game yesterday was one good half. Is it enough for me to just sway? Is it enough for me to sway what I felt this past 9 games? No. It's going to be up to them to prove it. So as far as points,
obviously,
I'm kind of around the same. I'm thinking maybe 7. Maybe 7, all right? But I hope it's more, and I hope we just kind of clamp down and get some results, get some good stuff out of their matches that we can create a little bit of a cushion there again, but just not feel safe or comfortable. And comfortable is something I've said we feel way too often, and that's what it seems like from the outside looking in for the past couple seasons. I hope they don't get comfortable again, all right? So they got it done there. Let's get it done against Fiorentina and then the rest of the sides in Serie A. We really need Champions League qualification. And then let's see what management's plans are moving on into next season, all right? It's going to be interesting. For Adam, enjoy the game against Milan, my friend, all right? I saw the group out of Toronto there yesterday. Amazing atmosphere. We didn't really talk about that, but the atmosphere was incredible. You could hear it coming through the telly as you're watching the game. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. The fan clubs there being present from Toronto there. Amazing, amazing. Getting to greet the players on their entrance into the stadium. Awesome, awesome stuff. All right. So again, these are opportunities presented to you when you join fan clubs. Show some love for all of you. Thank you again. Always making the lives extremely enjoyable. We got a lot of storylines around this Juventus side that we're just not going to get the answers to until season ends. It's going to be interesting. Buckle up.
Do you sometimes wish we were just this boring, perfect run club who always wins titles and nothing happens around them?
To be honest, no. It'd be pretty boring. You need a little bit of heat. You need a little bit of this, and it's the spice. It's okay. It's all good as long as all those involved understand it. And from the players' words yesterday, like they get it, and saying the criticisms are fair, accepting it. Like I like seeing guys that are supposed to be the main guys at Juventus take accountability, and that's a big thing. So I do at least like that. Let's hope that they can go. My key points, leaving this one, again, we need Vlahovic and Chiesa to be those guys for us down the stretch here. Attitude, energy, enthusiasm, bring it every game. That's a bare minimum, all right? And as for Max, maybe, in terms of the players, just let's stop maybe with the second guessing and weird attempts at certain things, and let's give guys goals. Because Illing Jr., it was really strange to me how he was starting to get minutes under Max, goes for international duty, bags a couple goals, and then he chooses to sit him down. Very strange. When you have a team looking for confidence and build up, and this is one of these things. I just can't shake out of my mind when we talk about moving forward. This last 9 games, guys, left a sour taste in my mouth. It would take a hell of a finish to change my mind. We'll have to see what happens. You guys, thank you as always. Omer, always an absolute pleasure. All right. Take
Always
care.
great.
We'll see you all very soon. I'll keep you guys rocking on the daily updates leading into the weekend. All right. As always, fino alla fine. Forza Juve. Ciao tutti. All right. Take care.
Yeah.